Hi guys, it's Tim Moen here, leader of the Libertarian Party of Canada. I'm in sunny Acapulco right now. I am speaking at a conference with Ron Paul and Judge Napolitano and a bunch of other liberty fighters, so I'm looking forward to recharging my batteries before I go back to the minus 30 weather I know you all are experiencing up in Canada, and I feel for you. But what I wanted to talk to you today about is this SNC Lavalin corruption scandal. I've been asked by a number of people to comment on it, to tell me my take on it, and so here I go. So SNC Lavalin is a construction engineering company. They have been doing a bunch of work in Libya, apparently. They've been accused of paying Muammar Gaddafi bribes in order to secure contracts, and then later on his son doing a bunch of stuff. So they're basically, doing what it takes in that system to get contracts, as far as I can see, right? It's the same here in Canada. I mean, if you want a government contract, or even if you want to do business, it behooves you to play the game, right? And so if you're a dairy farmer, you tell Andrew Scheer, hey, I'll give you a bunch of votes if you secure our monopoly on printing money here in the dairy cartel. If you're in the cannabis industry and you're friends with Justin Trudeau, let's say you're Justin Trudeau's CFO for his campaign, and you are a founding shareholder in a marijuana company, well, you're going to encourage the government to support your monopoly, right? And so what does the federal government do when it legalizes marijuana? It creates a federal licensing scheme, and it only hands out a few licenses to its friends, right? Well, this is corruption that's out in the open. It's right there for everyone to see. This is how the system works. It sucks. It's a terrible system. This is why I argue constantly for limiting government, because the only way you get rid of that corruption is by limiting government. It's not the corporation's fault. It's not the dairy farmer's fault. Really, it is to some degree. I mean, they could not dairy farm, I guess, and leave it to the people that are going to play the system and cozy up to government. But we have a cronyist system, and the only way to get rid of that cronyism is to limit government. Okay, and now so here's the sin of that's going on. Here's the corruption that's going on. It's never mind SNC Lavalin and it bribing people so it can build infrastructure in Libya. They are going to court because of this, or they've been charged with allegations of fraud. In other words, they apparently received money and didn't provide what they said they were going to provide in return. And so they're before the courts in Canada here. And the PMO's office allegedly, according to the Globe and Mail, sent marching orders to the Justice Minister at the time to cut a deal with them, to go to a remediation deal where they wouldn't have to go to open court and have all their sins exposed. Now, why would the PMO's office do this? Probably because SNC Lavalin is a big supporter of the Liberal Party. They sent them $100,000 or $200,000 or something like that in the last election, or something like that. Anyways, they're a big supporter, right? But that's how this works here. There's cronyism going on. It's not just the Liberals, it's the Conservatives, it's every other party. All right, so people are incensed about this, and they should be mad. This is a miscarriage of justice. But listen, guys, this is what you get when you vote for big government. When you constantly demand the government fix your problems and do, this is what you get. We get the government we deserve, all right? And apparently this is what we deserve. But let me tell you what really pisses me off about this. When I see Andrew Scheer and Max Bernier lambasting the Liberals for this corruption, these guys unanimously voted to bomb Libya, all right? And it was the NDP, the Liberals, and the Conservatives, unanimous support in the House of Commons to bomb the shit out of Libya in 2011. And the result of that was, as Hillary Clinton cackled, we came, we saw, he died. Yeah, he died by anal penetration, basically, Muammar Gaddafi. And now we have open slave trade in Libya. We have a migrant crisis in Europe that can be directly tied to these types of military actions in the Middle East. We have boatloads of people fleeing through Libya to cross the Mediterranean. And how are the people of Libya doing? Are they better off now? No, they're not. Of course not. So it just blows my mind. I'm sorry. Like, it's kind of like, you know, your kid kills someone openly, out in the open, just stabs someone, and then lies to you about eating candy or something. And then you lose your mind about him lying to you about eating candy, but the guy he just killed over there, whatever. That guy didn't matter. So, you know, and here's the thing. I haven't heard, it drives me nuts to see Andrew Scheer up there on his pompous soapbox. It drives me nuts to see Mad Max or any of these guys complaining about liberals covering up some corruption that might have occurred in Libya. So some corruption, and the corruption that resulted in infrastructure being built, okay? That's what they're complaining about. In the meantime, these guys bombed the shit out of that infrastructure. They destabilized the Middle East. They created an open slave market, a migrant crisis, and killed tons of people. And they did it all on our dime. And they have the temerity and the veracity to complain about this. It drives me nuts. You know what? Apologize for all your sins, and then maybe I'll listen to you whine and complain about Justin Trudeau's corruption.